Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking a truly monumental career opportunity. We're looking at a deeply comprehensive strategic guide for a very specific, highly influential role, the Senior Program Management Officer P5 level, based in Paris within the United Nations Environment Program, or UNEP. Specifically, this position sits within their Materials and Systems Innovation Unit. Now let's be real. Institutional documents and UN job descriptions can be incredibly dense, right? They're packed with specific jargon and hidden requirements. So today we're going to decode this together. Let's see exactly what this P5 role demands and how you can position yourself for success at the very heart of the global circular economy agenda.
Right off the bat, let's look at the core tension of this gig. Most senior roles in the international space demand one of two things. They either want deep scientific rigor, where you're locked in a lab or a research institute writing papers, or they demand high-level diplomatic engagement, where you're out shaking hands and negotiating treaties. But this unique position, it demands a master of both. You absolutely have to be someone who can comfortably straddle the line between generating credible scientific evidence and then translating that evidence into actual, actionable policy for governments and industry leaders.
To make sense of this dense 41-point document, we've broken it down into a 5-step roadmap. Number 1, the science policy mission. Number 2, the unicorn candidate qualifications. 3, a massive coordination mandate. 4, mastering the 5 competencies. And finally, number 5, a winning application strategy.
Let's jump right into it. Pillar 1, the science policy mission, bridging the gap.
To really understand this mission, you have to look at where this role sits. It's in the Industry and Economy Division in Paris, tackling the massive triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. Now, you aren't just writing reports here. Look at this quote directly from the source. You are moving fluidly between authoring peer-reviewed assessments and engaging government ministers. Literally, in the morning, you might be reviewing highly complex data for a global science panel, and then by the afternoon, you're sitting across from a government minister explaining why that exact data means they have to completely change their supply chains. It's the ultimate hybrid role. Moving right along to our second pillar, the unicorn candidate qualifications, the applicant DNA. So what does it actually take to even get your foot in the door? Well, we start with the baseline experience, 10 years. But wait, this isn't just any 10 years of general environmental work. The guide specifically demands 10 years of proven, science-based, and policy-relevant advisory experience at the country level. And crucially, it has to be grounded in life cycle approaches. On top of that, at least 5 of those 10 years must have been spent in a genuinely international capacity. They want proof that you can adapt across diverse national and cultural contexts. Next up, a massive financial threshold. If you're going to land this role, you need proven, direct experience mobilizing resources for projects with budgets exceeding $5 million. And let's be clear, the search panel doesn't just want to know that you were, in the room when the funding was secured. No, they want to see your direct, personal contribution to building the evidence-based investment cases that actually unlocked financing at this $5 million plus scale.
Then there's the management threshold. You have to have experience managing internationally diverse teams of 5 or more people. This isn't just about holding a fancy managerial title. It's about proving you can build cohesion, navigate cross-cultural communication, and lead a team of high-level scientific and technical experts. And you're often doing this across different time zones and completely different professional backgrounds. It's a true logistical puzzle.
To cap off these unicorn credentials, you need an advanced degree in a highly specific field, natural resources or environmental science. You also have to have a demonstrated track record of peer-reviewed publications. But here's the real kicker. You also need UN Level 3 English proficiency. That is a notably higher bar than the Level 2 standard common for many similar UN postings. It reflects the absolute precision you'll need for drafting and reviewing top-tier scientific assessments. Oh, and if you happen to have UN Level 2 French and data analytics experience, those are highly desirable cherries on top.
All right, Pillar 3, a massive coordination mandate. Inside the unit.
Before we talk about the partners you're going to be coordinating, what exactly does the UN mean by life cycle approaches? Simply put, it's the methodological backbone of circularity metrics. You are looking at a product from cradle to grave, literally from the moment raw materials are pulled from the earth, through the manufacturing and use phases, all the way down to how it's disposed of, or ideally, recycled. You absolutely have to be fluent in this framework to advise everyone from finance sector analysts to manufacturing stakeholders.
Now here is where things get truly staggering. Look at the sheer scale of institutional coordination required here. Most senior jobs ask you to manage maybe one major partnership. This P5 role, it demands that you provide simultaneous secretariat support to all 5 of these distinct, high-level global platforms. You're coordinating the scientific assessments for the International Resource Panel, driving programmatic action for the 10 YFP, generating economic knowledge for the Green Growth Knowledge Partnership, aligning circular economy policy for GESAIR, and managing the global data infrastructure for the Life Cycle Initiative. It's an absolute whirlwind of stakeholder management, and you are the operational link keeping the whole shebang together. And you know, if providing secretariat support to 5 global bodies wasn't enough to completely fill up your calendar, you also have heavy internal operational duties. You've got to take complex scientific data and make it usable for non-experts. You have to navigate the competing priorities of raw material producers versus waste management actors. You're tasked with implementing rigorous gender mainstreaming guidelines across all unit initiatives. And of course, you are overseeing the granular details of budgets, funding documents, and leading the team in data-driven decision-making.
Moving on to Pillar 4. Mastering the 5 competencies, the UN leadership mindset.
So how does one person literally do all of this without completely burning out? Well, it really comes down to a holistic UN leadership mindset made up of 5 equally weighted core competencies. You can't just be a brilliant visionary but totally fail at building trust. It doesn't work that way. You have to demonstrate professionalism, client orientation, a commitment to continuous learning, vision, and building trust in equal measure. Let's look a little closer at 2 of the most heavily emphasized ones for this specific role. Let's start with professionalism. Now, in a lot of corporate environments, professionalism just means meeting deadlines and sending polite emails. The UN definition for this role is incredibly specific. Here, it explicitly requires you to take active leadership in incorporating gender perspectives and ensuring equal participation. Furthermore, it explicitly highlights the need to maintain calm composure in genuinely stressful situations. When you are balancing 5 global partnerships and multi-million-dollar budgets, gracefully navigating high-pressure diplomatic and scientific conflicts, that is the true mark of professionalism. Next up is building trust. Why is this one so absolutely crucial? Because you are managing high-profile, voluntary scientific experts and coordinating politically sensitive policy data. You have to create an environment of psychological safety, a place where people can speak without any fear of repercussion. It also means deliberately giving proper credit to the scientists whose work you're coordinating so your own visibility doesn't overshadow theirs. And of course, it demands absolute discretion when handling pre-publication scientific findings or sensitive intergovernmental negotiations.
And finally, Pillar 5, a winning application strategy, conquering Inspira.
Okay, the bureaucratic rules of applying through the UN's notoriously rigorous Inspira portal can be super dense, but let's translate them into clear warnings. First, geographic diversity. The UN explicitly encourages applicants from a specific list of underrepresented member states. So if you're from one of those states, highlight it. Second, if you are already an internal UN staff member, you must rigorously document your lateral move eligibility. Third, be aware this is an initial 1-year fixed-term appointment limited to UNEP, which means you have to hit the ground running and build relationships rapidly. And finally, the golden rule of the Inspira system: 0 edits. Once you hit submit, you cannot change a single comma.
Knowing the rules is one thing, but here is a concrete 3-step action plan to actually survive the gauntlet. Step 1. Make absolutely sure your Inspira profile explicitly details the 10-year experience and that $5 million resource mobilization threshold. Do not make the hiring manager guess. Step 2. Prepare for a highly technical written assessment or case study. They are going to test your UN Level 3 English and your life cycle methodology skills before you ever get to an interview. Step 3. Build a concrete inventory of specific, real-world stories that map directly to the 5 behavioral competencies we just discussed.
Wow, we have covered a massive amount of ground today, taking a 41-point institutional blueprint and translating it into a clear roadmap. As you can see, this role is not for the faint of heart. It requires a brilliant scientific mind paired with elite diplomatic tact. So I'll leave you with this provocative challenge. Take a hard look at your career, look at your skills, and ask yourself, do you have what it takes to bridge the gap between global science and global policy at the very highest level? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.